Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Nice rainy morning for everybody to attend. Cabinet today. See we're going live. First item on the agenda for Wednesday the 17th of September. Any apologies for absence, please? Look around the room. No apologies for absence. Wonderful. Tony Screen. We'll make a note of Tony if we can, please. Item number 2, declarations of interest in accordance with Standing Order number 16. Ladies and gentlemen, any declarations of interest? I'll move on. Thank you for that. Item number 3, decision notice of the meeting held on the 16th of July 2025, pages 5 to 16 on our document. Everybody. So, any points? Let me just click through the technology. We're all learning this pretty quickly, aren't we? Yeah. Okay. No points. Point number 5, minutes of the leaders update. Beg your pardon, I'm jumping ahead here. Leaders update, which I shall read for everybody. Again, if I just find the information. We love the technology. Anyway, my statements. Good morning, everybody. As we open today's meeting, I want to begin by expressing my heartfelt thank yous for your unwavering commitment to Staffordshire and its people. Your dedication is the foundation of everything we do. We meet at a critical juncture, both locally and nationally, as we prepare for the challenges and the opportunities that lie ahead. This summer has been transformative. Just over 100 days ago, this new administration took office. From the outset, we were told we lacked the experience, that we had no track record in running local government, but we've proven otherwise. We've hit the ground running, we've stabilised operations, conducted rigorous financial reviews, and examined the very core of our organisation. We've listened, engaging with staff, past and present, to understand the legacy we've inherited and the path we must forge. This cabinet is not passive. We don't just attend meetings, we roll up our sleeves and get to work. In those early weeks, many of us worked long hours to get up to speed. That intensity may have eased, but our focus has not. We are here to demonstrate professionalism, competence, and clear ability to deliver. In just a few short weeks, we've taken decisive action in such areas as tackling roadwork disruption head-on, lobbying for urgent reform to send legislation, safeguarding the future of our county-owned farms, championing local food and production of food security, supporting local communities, economic investment, in fact, questioning everything requiring data-driven business case decision-making. We understand the complexity of local government. Staffordshire County Council carries immense responsibility, statutory and beyond. We didn't come to tear things down, we came to transform on how we work, stretching every pound, putting residents first and promoting Staffordshire as the beating heart of the country, a place to live, invest and visit. Yes, the machinery of local government can be slow, procedures and protocols often temper progress, but we've acted swiftly. Our vision, strategy and delivery plan are already in motion and will move through the public approvals process. We are ready for rollout. We've listened to our communities, we've prioritised safety and resilience with a new cabinet portfolio. We've introduced additional support for children, we've refocused the environment policy, investing in projects that deliver real, tangible benefits now, whilst championing beauty in the Scrutonian principle. We've been out there, meeting real people, hearing real stories, from drug and alcohol support to healthcare, from children and young people to vulnerable adults. We've shown we care face to face. But behind the scenes, we've done our due diligence on the government's plans around local government reorganisation and identified an option that meets their criteria. We didn't ask for this process, we don't want it, but we are prepared. We've used the data commissioned and produced by PwC, made available to all, and put forward the business case asked of us by government. Using their criteria and rules, with the Chancellor facing a £50 billion shortfall and reports of inadequate financial analysis around reorganisation, perhaps it's time for the government to rethink. We've also completed a full and comprehensive audit of all council directories as part of our efficiency review, from care to countryside, highways, heritage, trading standards, libraries, complaints, and legal to support our new strategic plan. All the hard work and effort gives a glimmer to the public of what lies ahead. Every pound must count. These findings are now shaping our new council plan and budget setting process. As we look ahead to the Chancellor's autumn statement, we remain alert. Potential reforms to council tax, inheritance tax and property levies could have profound implications. Two-thirds of our budget already supports vulnerable children and adults. Any changes to funding formulas or income streams must be carefully considered. The real test now begins. We've laid the groundwork. We must now deliver through execution, accountability and impact. We're proud of what we've achieved. I'm energised by what lies ahead. And with that, let's move on to the next agenda item. Point number 5, minutes of the meeting of the Property Subcommittee held on the 20th of August, pages 17 to 18. Nope. Are we all happy?
I'm happy. Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm happy to sign the minutes. I'll do that in a second. Item number 6, Staffordshire means business. Verbal report from our Deputy Leader, Councillor Martin Murray.
Thank you. I didn't have to give a leader statement that we've been out there, and we really have. We've been out to all the businesses, all our councillors, cabinet. It's amazing how many have said they have not seen a council member for years. We're actually out there doing it. And that's really important for our economy, for our people. But our business update. I'll begin with the update number of people in the county who are claiming universal credit and required to seek work. This helps provide an indication of the state of local economy and the jobs marketing, highlighting any issues that we may need to consider. This month, we saw an increase again of 280 claimants in Staffordshire, bringing the total number of claimants in the county to 15,300, or 2.8% of the working age population. This is both lower than the national average of 4.1% and the regional average of 5.4%. Youth claimant count in Staffordshire saw an increase of 80 claimants to a total of 3,100 young people. The proportion of young people in Staffordshire aged 18 to 24 that are claiming work-related universal credit now stands at 4.9%. It is also important to note that it is lower than the national average of 5.7% and far lower than our regional average of 7.9%. Both claimant counts in Staffordshire are better than national averages and continue to be one of the lowest in the West Midlands. However, and this is a point we have raised before, further increased claimant count highlights the importance of continuing to support our residents to find work and in particular engage with our young residents to help them find employment and continue with their further education and training. It is of course vital that Staffordshire County Council plays its part in supporting the creation of new jobs within the county, and we will ensure that Staffordshire is placed for best business to invest within this heart of the country. Over the coming years, we are going to see continued development of the landmarked West Midlands Interchange Scheme in South Staffordshire, which is estimated to bring 8,500 jobs to the county. I was therefore really pleased recently to see Colesberg Brickvic have been announced as the first occupier, and the company will invest £4 million in its new depot at the site. Colesberg Brickvic have already committed over £6 million to upgrading its brewery in Burton, and shows the company's ongoing commitment to the county and the confidence of business to invest in Staffordshire. The County Council has been working closely with developers of the West Midlands Interchange from the outset, and our Jobs and Career Service is already gearing up to promote the jobs created by Colesberg Brickvic when they become available in 2026, ensuring that Staffordshire residents can take full advantage of the opportunities on offer. The West Midlands Interchange is of course just one example of the significant levels of investment from business across all parts of the country. Earlier this month, I was pleased to be able to speak at the event at Keele University, which was attended by many of our world-class businesses. This includes developer Endurance, which already creates some of the country's most successful employment sites. And at the event, Richard Hickman, Endurance Senior Director of Planning, outlined how the company is investing around 800 million in sites across Staffordshire over the next few years. And these aren't sites that are pipe dreams, but ones that are currently being built or in the planning process. Again, this highlights the huge amount of investment coming into the area and the confidence the business have in investing in Staffordshire. Whilst the investments from major national and international companies is vital to the continued growth of the local economy, we know that small and medium-sized businesses remain the lifeblood of Staffordshire and make up the vast majority of businesses in the county. We therefore need to make sure that our continued support to businesses to start, survive and thrive within Staffordshire. And our growth hubs provides a key role in providing support to businesses, regardless of where they are or on their journey. Back in June, we saw a launch of government's new business growth services, and this is a real positive that local growth hubs have been given prominent roles as we know that local areas of organisations, including the County Council, understand the needs of and are closer to our businesses. Our growth hubs continue to invest in resources and teams, including the appointment of 7 dedicated business advisors who are able to help entrepreneurs in achieving their aims for their business, whilst the signposting to relevant support resources and events. I must add, we do not make this well known to all our businesses in the county. Our growth hubs, they do amazing work, and it's something we are also personally working on to make more businesses aware of our growth hubs and the work they do. I therefore encourage all of our businesses to get in touch with the Staffordshire Business Helpline to see how we can support you in the next stage of your growth. Finally, this month, I want to touch on our visitor economy. That's something I actually do know a lot about. And our efforts to ensure Staffordshire is a renowned tourist attraction for England's playground. Recently published shows that the Staffordshire visitor economy is now valued at 2.7 billion, a 30% increase compared to pre-pandemic levels. In 2024, around 37 million visits were made to our county, with 4 million overnight stays and visitor spending helping to support around 26,000 jobs. Events such as the Live Golf Tournament, which took place at JCB and our county club at the end of July, helped to contribute to these substantial figures. And I was pleased to see that the event was once again, it was a great success. And it was a hard low impact because of work district, local councils and county council did to make it a success. Fantastic work by JCB and the event operators there. This year, 43,000 fans attended that event. That's up from 37 last year, with ticket buyers coming from 35 different countries. Such was the success of the Live Golf at JCB, have already confirmed that event will take place again next year, and the County Council will be there to support these types of events in Staffordshire, and substantial benefits they bring. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murray, for that. And the next item on the agenda, we'll just give him a brief break to put his papers away, is local government reorganisation. I will pass it over to Councillor Murray if you're ready.
Thank you. This is a big issue. And I think I need to really start to explain to everybody, especially those listening, what the devolution white paper actually is and meaning. It is to devolve the areas of existing two-tier authorities, those that have a district borough councils, city councils and county council sitting over. These will devolve similar to that, and it is only similar to that of your Manchester, your Birminghams, your Bristols, sole unitary authorities. It will bring in a collective voice that you can have at Westminster. That's the whole benefit of devolution, that strategic mayoral authority. It gives us a voice on large projects. A great example would be the Northern Rail Line that Manchester and Birmingham are talking of doing. But because we are not devolved with no seat at the table, we miss out on those conversations. Devolution done correctly can have a great advantage. Sadly, this devolution paper, we do not believe it at any level gives us those advantages. It does miss out one key factor, it does not give us the full devolved power. There is no fixed timeline for the strategic mayoral authority to come through. That's the whole advantage. All it does is a rushed process to do local government reorganisation, LGR, turning our district, borough and city council into unitary authorities. We've had to follow a very strict guideline on this sort of criteria. So today I'm asking you to consider the approved from the Council's preferred option for local government reorganisation. As you know, we do not ask for devolution, we do not want devolution, and Staffordshire does not need devolution under these levels. But Westminster are driving forward with these changes regardless, setting out a criteria we have to meet and set by unrealistic and frankly it's unachievable timescale. We have less than 12 months. Other areas that were on the fast track have been looking at this for 5 to 6 years. From point one of being announced to today, it's under 12 months. That is unrealistic. And it really does miss a key metric. It really does. It should be the highest metric, and it misses it on this white paper, and that's local community and culture. It does not put a greatest emphasis on that point. In an ideal world, Staffordshire residents, we would not be forced to take on everyone's debt, and Stoke City's debt is considerable. I'm actually two ways about this. Devolution is mergers and acquisition. It merges areas together. And in this case, the parent company would actually be the government. And in any other business, that parent company would be responsible for some of that debt. But in this plan, it bears no responsibility. It does not bear the responsibility of debts that occurred in past history, and it forces us to take it on. Now, that in business would not happen, but in governments, it is being enforced on us. But those are the rules, and we have no choice. So we've been left with two options. Do nothing and have the changes imposed upon us follows the rules of the game. Do our due diligence, review the options that meet the government's criteria, not ours, and put forward the best business case options, which gives the unitary authorities the best possible chance of success now and into the future. And that's exactly the work we've been doing. And I must say that work has been tough, has been long hours, and I do need to thank all of our officers who have worked so hard behind the scenes alongside PwC to provide me with the evidence against 8 potential options, because that's how many we've looked at in depth, and for the Cabinet to make a decision on today. The work has been immense, and we have worked this together collaboratively and listening to all authorities on this, those who have expertise on it. The reality is the local government reorganisation is complicated. There is no perfect option, especially under these rules. This is about thinking through the key issues: financial viability, splitting up services such as social care, and bringing services together such as housing, and how we can make a bigger councils feel local. It's about finding the best possible balance so that all residents, regardless of where they live in our county, can expect good service, good value council services into the future. We must focus on that local representation through this. We are therefore compelled to submit a case for 2 unitary councils in Staffordshire. And our preferred option, our proposal, is one for the east and one in the west, with the great city of Stoke-on-Trent included. And we have included our city as part of the new East Staffordshire Unitary Council. All the options that meet the government's criteria for change, the east-west option could deliver a net saving of 28.4 million over 5 years and includes the cost of transition. It also provides a far fairer balance between the new councils around the important factors such as council income, levels of deprivation, employment and business growth. And it is about that equal split of these local assets. Subject to the approval today, we will work this outline preference into a full business case to submit to government in November, setting out the case in more detail and crucially setting out the plans for how people can continue to access council services locally that meet their needs. We know that this is a concern for our residents, and no matter which option the government chooses, these concerns will still exist. Indeed, there are strengths and weaknesses with all the options, and when the government makes their final decision, our implementation plans will need to address these, and that will fall down to the County Council and the boroughs to implement those. So let me make it perfectly clear. The government does not have to choose any of these proposals from Staffordshire. It doesn't have to choose them. It can, and it has already ignored local area proposals and chosen their own. And I must remind you what was stated in the white paper and by the ex-deputy leader. We will decide for you. Their words. So you have the papers in front of you. I will not read through them all now because it will take a very, very long time. And I know we have all here at some level looked at these. The recommended East-West option for local government reorganisation meets all the government criteria for change. It meets their criteria. It is the most balanced of the options modelled. It shares Staffordshire's assets equally across our county. It gives the best measured outcomes for total council tax and business rates receipts. Measured, it's not our measurements, remember this. It has the best balanced analysis for deprivation, gives the best outcome for gross value added and employment, gives the best gross disposable household income, the best digital connectivity and prosperity. It even has the best life expectancy. Again, it's not by our measurements, it's by the government's criteria, set out and measured by PwC. That's the same consultants the government used to draw up the white paper and their proposals. So in short, it's their rules, their game, used their referee, in essence, point I've made before. And through this, it benefits every part of Staffordshire. We have not done a political case. I've cleared my head of all political thoughts and advantages. This is a pure business case put forward by the measurements and the criteria set out before us. We have been instructed to do this, and that is exactly what we have done. We have done the work as asked. And it comes out as the best and the only option for this is a West Staffordshire unitary and an East Staffordshire unitary. So I put forward these papers for you today, and I'm open to any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. I will take questions from the floor and then I'll do a summary at the end. So please, we'll go around in order if people want to put their lights on and ask some questions. Councillor Mason.
Yes, thank you. I have been in the room when we've had long and hard debates about this. And I think I know how most of my Cabinet colleagues feel. I myself will, under duress, in order to meet my legal obligations, vote for this East-West solution today. However, it will be the last time when I leave this room that I support this proposal. It's not needed, it's not wanted, and it's not welcome. There is in the paper actually something that talks about East-West with Stoke remaining the same, but even that assumes that we go down the route of splitting Staffordshire up and playing the government's game. I personally want to see the government do the right thing, step back from this political clown show, not waste £30 billion and put it on the back burner and let us get on with our lives. If they won't, then my position when I walk out this room will be one and one only. I will campaign for a united Staffordshire. I believe in Staffordshire. I live in Staffordshire. Staffordshire is not some line on a map that the politicians can just look at and say we will move. It defines heritage, it defines history, it defines culture, it defines a sense of belonging that makes all us, with our history, our ancestry in this county, believe that Staffordshire is our home. And that's what I want to see. So the businessman, the legal duty, the statutory undertaking to support this, I will give. And when I leave the room, that will be the last support I give to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mason. I concur 100%, and I share your view, but I'll come to that in the conclusion at the end. Councillor Alleyne.
Hello, good morning to everybody. I can only agree with what my colleague Councillor Mason has said, but I want to go in a little bit deeper as to the costs of all of this. It's all about diluting the debts. In my mind, any of these options is an abomination of our great county of Staffordshire. Devolution, however it's instigated, will just dissect Staffordshire. My great worry on all of these options put forward is the debt we will have taken on. The current east-west split, and these are at best guess numbers, the east will take on £1 billion of debt combined, and the east around 300 million. So that's a 77% to the east, 23% to the west. Every borough council, every district council carries its own debt. Staffordshire County Council comes with a large debt, but Stoke-on-Trent comes with a huge debt. Adding to that the cost of LGR is going to result in the taxpayer paying more.
Thank you, Councillor Allen. Before I come round, I'll let Councillor Murray speak.
Make a very clear thing, and I pointed that out earlier. This is a mergers and acquisition. Stoke has a debt, but the criteria is quite clear on this. And to blame the people of Stoke and the great city of Stoke for this is an injustice to them. They didn't cause it. A lot of issues has done this. Government underfunding, some poor management systems. There's a lot of issues there. Every council carries a debt. Our own county council carries a debt. The cost of doing this already is in the many hundreds of thousands. These consultants are not cheap. The hours we're having to take away from your vital services is not cheap. And I do not talk about the councillors' hours. I'm on about the officers' hours. It has already cost millions, probably billions across the whole country by the time this is done. The original estimate for this in the white paper was 3.5 billion. They used data from 2020. It wasn't even meant for this purpose. So they had to redo the PwC, redid the data. Came back at best option. Total cost 9.5 billion, with some leading bodies suggesting it will cost in excess of 30 billion to achieve full devolution for every part of England. This country's in serious, serious debt. And they're on about spending an extra 30 billion to evolve areas they did not even consult with beforehand. They do not have a mandate, public mandate, for full devolution of every part of England. It was not mentioned by any standing official for the government for the general election. They said they'd speed up devolution for the areas wanting it. They did not mention devolving every single part of England. That was a shock to everybody. The cost is extraordinary. The future cost to implement it through every council through that transitional period will be excessive. The extra work you will have to do, our officers, our civil servants at every level, will be immense. And that's where I come down to the timescale of this, to be done to their timescale. Other areas have taken years to put it in place. It will also give a fourth local government system to England only. We have London's devolved power, one system. We have our city devolved powers, like Bristol, another system. We have our combined authorities, your Manchester and Birmingham, another system. And now we have this white devolution, another system. It makes no sense. It costs a fortune. It does not represent what local people want. But we have done the work as instructed to do. Sometimes you have to do what you are asked. And that's what we always said, we'd do the business case first, and that is all we have done. Not the political case, the business case, and that's what this comes out at. And you're right, it will cost a fortune. But there is a reason why the East-West works out better, because it scales down the debt per head by a slightly larger number to the east compared to the west. The north-south option that has come from the Labour-led Stoke-on-Trent City Council has that debt fixed at a smaller number for Newcastle, Stoke and the Moorlands. That's under £500,000. That puts an extra pressure per head on those people. We have it, we have to deal with it. Regardless of anything else, we have to deal with that debt. And the fairest way is you scale it down over number of people. That's basic mathematics, it's basic finance. It's how you move those boundaries. And that's what this model clearly shows. And that's why it is done that way. Not a political, not a boundary one. Those criteria weren't highlighted enough. It was on those criteria. And that is what we have followed, and that's what the numbers come out at. And that's where it answers the question of the debt.
Thank you for that, Councillor Murray. Next one is Councillor Rogerson.
Hi, good morning everyone. I just want to reiterate again with my colleagues that this is, to me, is a very sad time, that we've been made and forced into decisions. Politically, we had to throw everything through the window. You will be getting my vote, but it is something that I didn't really want. I want a united Staffordshire, and I want to thank everybody for the work and helping, especially for myself, to understand the differences. I just find it a very bitter pill to swallow, but it does have my vote.
Thank you, Councillor Rogerson. Councillor Janet Higgins.
Yeah. I have got questions that my residents asked me to ask, but you have answered a lot of them, Councillor Murray, so thank you for that. But I do feel strongly that I support what Councillor Mason has said, and I will give the vote today to support the proposal, but to support the residents of Lichfield Rural West, I think they would like me to work with Councillor Mason after and other councillors to try and see if we can be a united Staffordshire. Thank you.
Councillor Higgins. Thank you, Councillor Higgins. Councillor Coles.
Thank you. I completely concur with everything that's been discussed in here. I think there's something we do need to make very clear, because it is really complex. All of the criteria you've had to meet, the different options, the different maps. And obviously there's been a lot of discussion since we publicised this, and it's been classed as a political angle, but actually it's just reiterating this is business only and it isn't our political decision. When we talk about a united Staffordshire, which is what we all want, we actually don't want any change, we want it to be kept as it is, maybe made efficiencies, things brought in, but it isn't the devolution that's been talked about that Manchester and other places have had. But if you looked at map 3, which is all of us together, so you'd think, oh, that's all of us, we don't split up Staffordshire. I know why we can't propose that and the issues with that, but I think it'd be really good for you to articulate that now, Martin, if you wouldn't mind.
Thank you, yes. So I've even looked at the data from not only what people have proposed in Staffordshire, but across the whole country. Been national meetings at it. And it's why I actually asked for extra maps to be done to look at a 3-4-way split for the best options. Now, devolution, when originally put forward, if you like, was over 90% about devolution, that devolved power, that strategic mayoral authority. Right now, that has been removed. It's only about unitary authority, LGR, local government reorganisation. Make it very, very clear right here, right now to everybody. There is only one option we could ever support, and I think across every single district, every single politician in this county will agree on this one point. We have to have a single strategic mayoral authority for Staffordshire. Not a combined, single. A Staffordshire executive that looks over the whole of Staffordshire. That is vital. That gives us that voice. That is where devolution should have belonged. But it's been, those goalposts have been moved. And that comes down to your question, why would not go for a single unitary? To have a strategic authority, you must have at least 2 unitaries below it. If we voted for a single strategic mayoral, single unitary authority, it would endorse a combined authority for Staffordshire. It means our preferred option would be that we would move into Shropshire. Because we do know that is a likelihood. We've already seen certain high-level structures like the ICB being shared across Staffordshire, Shropshire already, and other services going that way. We also have the original one, which is by the Conservatives, the previous administration in March. We have a lot of online people saying, well, look at the distance. But their proposal was for a whole Staffordshire with Stoke sitting by itself as an island. Now that again this was this previous administration's view. So remember, those councillors saying, oh, look at the distance. They wanted the whole of Staffordshire, a lot further distance. Make no two ways about distance as well and representation of the local area. A north-south, just think of how far it takes from the most southern tip of South Staffordshire to go round to Tamworth. It's over an hour journey because the road structure is not great. Does it really represent? Everyone has its issues. Everyone has its merits. Everyone has its problems. It's their criteria and that's where they've got it wrong. So again, the singular would mean a very, very large authority. It does meet a lot of financials because you only have one executive for each body. But does that body, let's say for housing, represent that whole area? It doesn't. Does that representation for where you are housed, for your road structures, for your schooling? Do not forget, I've looked at the deprivation for our education. Stoke, Cannock are amongst the worst in this country on our education levels. Tamworth has pockets, again, at that level. We must separate our assets and where we need to pull together better in that map. Hence why the east-west works best. And it does. It separates it gives equal equality to our great enterprise parks I mentioned in the economy briefing earlier. Staffordshire Mead Business. It puts the likes in the west, the Junction 6, Hatterley Park, parts of the Ceramic Valley going across. Huge development, fantastic work. Our junction with our I-54 and the Midlands interchange. With Staffordshire College. It also places a university in each area. Not both in the north, one in the east, one in the west. It separates our largest colleges that run it all. Again, Stafford College with its brand new science park all happening. Our Keele and Newcastle College with Keele Science Park. Stoke-on-Trent College and Stoke University. It's amazing assets. Do not underestimate these assets. They are great assets to a whole county. And if we had a full strategic mayoral authority to look after all of Staffordshire, we could very easily, straight away, make it fair and equal to all parts of Staffordshire, with whichever cut-up they insisted on having it. But that does not come in yet. We do not even have a fixed timeline for an executive to sit over these bodies, these unitary authorities. So we must put forward what we are asked. It's backwards, it's unfair, it's unequal. It doesn't represent that local voice, that local culture. It's so important. But all models have their advantages and disadvantages. The East-West proposal we put forward goes by their metrics. It is financial, it is just looking at the data, the business case only. That is what we've been asked and instructed to do. And we have done it without a political bias, and the results speak for themselves on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. Councillor Alex Hunt.
Thank you. I'm going to ask two questions, if that's okay. So my first question really is, when looking at the business plan, a lot of the major business assets sit more to the west. A lot of constituents are concerned that we have our own debts within West Staffordshire with this model, to where economically, over several years, West Staffordshire actually may even do better than we are in, East Staffordshire may do better than West Staffordshire. So what could you say basically to help those who are worrying about that to avoid concern there? And then secondly, really, I just wanted to there's been loads of rumours from neighbouring authorities that around LGR, and by rejecting, if we was to reject this plan, this advisory plan now, would it risk further fragmentation of Staffordshire, where possibly Cannock Chase could be absorbed by other authorities if we don't have an actual plan to go forward to try and keep Staffordshire together? Thank you very much.
Yeah, they're very good points, and I did bring that very clear right from the start. It does equalise the assets that I mentioned earlier. We have these huge business parks. We already have the I-54, which is shared with Wolverhampton. We have the Midlands Interchange, which again is shared with Wolverhampton. These are huge. I spoke earlier about the millions of investment, the 8,500 jobs coming from Carlsberg Brickvik to our area directly. These are huge, huge benefits and assets to the western part. We have, which I was there to open, the Chatterley Park on Junction 16. This is over 1 million square feet. I'm hoping to give an announcement very soon for another project going in that park that we have personally been working on. Just watch this space for that one. Also encompasses part of the Ceramic Valley going across, which will lead into the 5500 development. Do not underestimate the value that can bring to the whole of Staffordshire. It gives us Keele Science Park. It's one of the global leaders at high-tech level. I mean, Keele is amazing. This is part of the forgotten Staffordshire. Nobody speaks about Keele. Top 5 university. It is immense. The Science Park is leading the world for arthritis development. Just one example. It gives great assets. It equalises then to the west as well with the 5500 development coming on through, that hydrogen valley, hydrogen highway for the UK. Yeah, it gives great assets. Stoke's business is immense. Their business rates is huge. Do not underestimate the value of Stoke-on-Trent City. It's a great city, brings great value. So we equalise those assets. I did make the specific case. I worked out personally per capita. No one else looked at that. I actually did. This will come further into the business case and show the equalisation of these assets across the board. You come to a point I made when devolution first got released back in December. I made this case online, actually, as many people were. I saw a risk instantly. As soon as this, before any proposal was done, I was not even considered to stand for election at the time, that we could see in the future Cannock Chase in a different authority to Cannock. It stands a chance. I actually mentioned on radio the other week, because they've rushed LGR instead of devolution, it does put at risk the city status of Stoke-on-Trent. It's easily fixed, it's easily solved, but they did not think of these factors. We are with a north-south split. It puts serious risk and pressure for parts of Staffordshire to be swallowed up by other authorities. We know Warwickshire wants Tamworth. They want Tamworth. That is just plain and clear. We know, I've been publicised, minutes, that Lichfield are looking towards Birmingham. We know this. We could lose Lichfield, our cathedral city, to Birmingham City Council. I mean, you're worried about your taxis at the moment in Lichfield and that lot? Yeah. Imagine if you go to Birmingham City. Just think of that one. We have a serious risk of South Staffordshire being swallowed up by Wolverhampton, who have just joined with Walsall. This leads to a new Black Country Unitary Authority, I suspect. Do not know, but it does lead that, and it does make a little bit of sense for that. We share that with Wolverhampton at the moment. So imagine if we have a north-south unitary, where both universities sit in the north, Ceramic Valley, Junction 16, Keele Business Park, Science Park, all those great, amazing businesses that all sit in the north within the city of Stoke-on-Trent, and then we lose the I-54 Midlands Interchange. We lose the historic culture of what was once the capital of this country, Tamworth. Just imagine if Lichfield ends up wanting or carries on shared non-constituent rights with the West Midlands Combined Authority, and are influenced that way. These are the real pressures. We would see a greater Stoke authority, and that would be the end of Staffordshire as a county. Can't see that. First and foremost, for devolution to work, we need the executive. We need that voice across the country within the halls of, within Whitehall, within Westminster. We need the strategic mayoral authority for the whole of Staffordshire first, that executive that can then help and bring together the county as a whole to guarantee those shared assets, no matter which authority they sit in, represents the whole county. It solves everything, but that's not what we've been instructed to deliver. And that is the fundamental flaw with this proposal that's going on through. It fundamentally excludes the executive. It leads two unitary authorities basically arguing over the same asset because no higher executive sits over. It puts the pressure going forwards on all local authorities, wherever they may sit and be. The workload to transform into that is immense. The timescale, do not underestimate the level of work they will all have to do. And then the job losses. They're civil servants. Really haven't thought about this. I'm amazed the unions aren't screaming out louder. Because in 5-6 years, once this is done, there will be huge job losses. That's the whole point. That is the whole point of unitary authority, LGR. Yeah, it scales down the amount of staff required. But if you have less staff, you know what else you have less? You have less service. You have less local voice. Serious issues. Not ones I agree with. You've heard of everybody else here. That's why we do not fully agree with it. But the East-West addresses all of those specifically because it's not politically motivated. It is pure business plan, following data, following criteria. Their rules, their game, measured by their consultant.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. Councillor Chris Lodge.
Thank you. Good Chair. I've been partially involved in the latter parts of this, and my first reaction is that, like my colleagues, this is a business model. We've played by the rules. The key performance indicators is what we've met. There's no cultural emphasis to this project and this proposal. There's no consultation. If this affects the whole of Staffordshire, and the government are so keen to get local people involved and this is the benefit of the people of Staffordshire, well, why don't they put it to a vote? That's the first principle. The second principle is, and that is right now, our government is indebted, seriously indebted. Our councils have masses of debt, some better positions than others. At the county, we've got a reasonable position, but there are many others that do not. And there are many other counties around us that do not. So putting this proposal on the table and saying that over the next 18 months, and as a person with expertise in transformation and change, this proposal to rush it through in a year and then have a year where we all sit together and ghost each other and share responsibilities and then merge into the new business in April 28 is a revolutionary change programme, which is fraught with risk, in my experience of doing this, and there's no reason for it. We could have easily done a 5-year programme where we work locally to support each other and look at the economies of scale that are needed for Staffordshire. Councillor Murray pointed out one thing, and that is how much money this is going to cost. How much money, first and foremost, we've spent already. How much money we're going to spend over the next 18 months. And subsequently, how much is this all going to cost? Now, let's just pick on that. 1 million was the winter fuel allowance, 1 billion was the winter fuel allowance, 5 billion was PIP. This is 30+ billion. Where's that money going to come from? Well, we know where it's coming from. It's coming from taxpayers and council taxpayers. And so I think this is not only shuffling deck chairs around the Titanic, what we're doing is we're gold painting them. Because it's not what everybody wants here, it's not what everybody in Staffordshire wants. But as a new group, we were asked to perform this task, and we've performed it excellently with the officers of the county. We pulled everything together with PwC, and what you're seeing is a model that spreads debt across the place, where what we need to be focused on is lowering the debt in Staffordshire individually through all those councils, keeping and maintaining the services to the public of Staffordshire. And I concur with everybody else that we will, with prejudice, vote for this, because that's what the current government wants us to do. But we should strongly, after this, is defend our position about a united Staffordshire. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. Take some more questions. We've got Councillor Alleyne and then Councillor Hunt.
Hello. It's just after listening to everything I've heard today and what I've been mulling over in my mind, in my heart and everything else, I am voting in favour of this proposal, not because I support it, but because I believe it represents the least damaging option amongst the currently available. This is a reluctant vote, a choice made under constraint, not conviction. And I will be working after this in the future, lobbying to get this abomination stopped.
Thank you for that, Councillor Alleyne. Councillor Hunt.
With everything that's been discussed today, the country's already kind of voted on this previously in 2004 when we voted against regional parliaments, and it seems a similar thing that the parties, the Labour Party, tried to push again. So, in my opinion, it's really saddening that even I have to even consider voting for this plan, because I just, in my heart, it didn't seem like it's the best for Staffordshire generally, but it's not the plan itself. It's because we've been forced to do LGR. It doesn't help Staffordshire at all. It just seems to break us apart. So what I'm about to say is, because people from either side will be watching this and listen to us live, I would urge the Conservatives, Labour MPs and those across parties who disagree with breaking up Staffordshire, please work together with us to push against LGR, because it's just awful. And I've already spoken to some MPs and some local councillors that obviously are against it, on opposition to us, and I just think we all need to work together to keep Staffordshire whole, to look after the residents of Staffordshire and put Staffordshire first. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hunt. Councillor Alleyne.
Yes, thank you. I've listened to everybody around the table, and obviously we've had in-depth discussions previously. I'm totally against the whole process. However, I understand that we have a duty to produce a plan or a proposal, and that's what we're doing. And again, reluctantly, very, very reluctantly, I will vote in favour of it. But like all my colleagues around the table and the leadership team, will protest against it to the government. I think it shows the Labour government in a light that it just shows them what they are. They do not care about the people of this country. If they did, they would have asked. It would have been in their manifesto. It wasn't. So why are they producing something or going ahead with something that is just abhorrent? It just shows how they just do not listen, and it goes across all subjects as well as LGR. So yes, I'll reluctantly go with it, but like everybody else around this table, I will campaign against it and campaign for a Staffordshire, a united Staffordshire. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Alleyne. Councillor Murray would like to speak.
Councillor Hunt.
Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. I've just seen Councillor Myers. I will tell you what we'll do. We'll do Councillor Hunt, Councillor Myers, and you can say your bit. How about that?
Just a quick one to that. I do not blame all the Labour MPs for this going through. This is a cabinet decision made by Keir Starmer, by Central Cabinet, and their decision, and the previous deputy leader. I do not blame all of the Labour MPs, because I believe that many Labour MPs will work with us in future going on trying to push against this, because it's not the best for us. I wanted to just put that forward. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Councillor. My apologies. Councillor Andrew Myers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. A very interesting discussion. Perhaps the silver lining is that we have had a chance to deep dive into the organisation and efficiency and how this would move forward and look up various models. There's been very, very interesting discussions over the last few months. But I concur and agree that with debt overruns in the country already and the risk of a potential overspend, it was supposed to be 3 billion to going up to 30 billion, we'll just end up with something like the HS2, you know, and we've already spent a lot and lots of money on that. So, and I'm not really sure the shadow program would work. So I think perhaps, hopefully, on the end of November, people will go in London and have a look and listen to what we've all set up here in Staffordshire and various places. But at the moment, the best option that we've had in the modelling and the PricewaterhouseCoopers presentations is to go forward with this and see where we get forward in November. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Councillor Murray.
I want to thank you all for all of your points. Oh, just one more. Go on.
One more. Councillor Lakin again.
Yeah, I just want to pick up on what Councillor Hunter said there. Yes, I accept not all Labour MPs are against it, but they need to grow some and present and say. They have been deafeningly quiet on this matter, and they need to speak up.
Thank you for that. Is Councillor Coles? Yes, Councillor Coles.
I think it's just picking up on the last point, actually, that Councillor Murray mentioned. As Labour, I'm going to make it political, as Labour are heavily involved with unions, unions protect them from having to have a general election. How come nobody is shouting about the thousands of jobs that will be going? I agree with always looking at efficiencies. We're doing that now that we're in place. I've worked in multiple businesses, as Councillor Large has, and I've seen reorganisation done in the right way. There is going to be thousands more people now unemployed, potentially, and the pressure on our economy, and when we're being pressured to try and grow Staffordshire, is going to become immense. So again, I will back what we've put forward as a business case, because our concerns are if we don't, we will be restricted from future funding and we cannot be in that position. But yeah, there are big concerns, and we do need to work with other parties, remove the political bias to stand for what we need now for the people of Staffordshire.
Thank you, Councillor Coles. Councillor.
Thank you. I just want everybody who's watching and looks at the minutes for this afterwards to understand. We have spoken at great depth about this throughout. We have worked hand in hand, directly and across all parts with our officers and leads within County Council. I've been in so many meetings, national and local, where they've spoken about devolution. I've yet to find anyone who supports it. And as Councillor Hunt says, many of the Labour MPs and certainly councillors do not want this. We do have a combined voice here. It's not right. But the other thing is, as I said at the beginning, and it's the reason why we all came in on, we said we'd do the business required. We'd do the work. And that's exactly what we've done. But I'll give one last plea to every single councillor, every single MP. Don't let devolution break the heart of this country in two.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. I will sum up unless anybody else has any other questions in terms of that. Are we all good with that? First of all, I'd like to thank all the officers. They've been absolutely tremendous in all the hard work they've done. It's taken hours and hours of work. This is purely a model based on a business idea. It takes no account whatsoever, as Councillor Large says, about the different areas of the county, its geography, its culture, its regions. None whatsoever. Absolutely concur with my colleague, Councillor Mason. I, as a leader of Staffordshire County Council, are in a position where we have to deliver something which nobody wants. And do not let our political opponents say we are for this. We are against this, 100%. The only reason why we're engaging in this is because we have a duty to do so. If we take ourselves off the political table, there's a bigger game here. We have already places like Manchester and Birmingham forging ahead with their mayors who have access to greater funding than we do already. We've talked about the footprint of this county, the potential merging with Shropshire, certainly at the level of the ICB. I know the police are looking to merge their police forces to have 12 police forces. That will go over the same footprint. We have that with the Police and Crime Commissioner, the Fire Authority, and a range of other bits and pieces. This is part of a wider, larger political game that this particular government wishes to engage in. The people of Staffordshire do not want this. My fellow Reform councillors do not want this. We are against this. I, as the leader, will discharge my duties as leader to deliver what I am required. But when I leave that element behind, whether this or full council, I will campaign for a whole Staffordshire to keep this county as one. And that is what we are here to do, to preserve the services that we hold dear for the people of Staffordshire, whether it be children, special educational needs, or whatever. We will do our best to do the best for the people of Staffordshire. It's as simple as that. So I will fulfil my role as legally required, but I will campaign to make sure that we have a whole Staffordshire. This whole government model is flawed, ill thought out, poorly funded, and will lead to a disaster. We will split our county in two, and it is not what people want. I will vote reluctantly as the leader and urge my colleagues to as the leader. However, beyond that, I do not support this plan. I do not support LGO. Thank you. Next point. Item. We need to take a vote, absolutely. So what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we have to have a vote on this. So those in favour say aye. Aye. And that is a very reluctant aye. That is only because we are forced to. Thank you. Item number 8, Thomas Alleyne High School, pages 207 to 220. Councillor Janet Higgins, I believe.
Thank you. Sorry, that was a very heated conversation, and I'll move on now to education and SEND. We're looking at the Thomas Alleyne High School, Uttoxeter, Section 106 funding approval. Just a brief overview. We want every child to have the opportunity to learn in a local school, and we have a duty to ensure there are sufficient places to cope with increasing demand. With new housing developments in the local area, we must plan for the future and ensure Thomas Alleyne High School can accommodate more young people. This extension will not only allow the school to expand by 120 pupils, but will also enhance the school's STEM education facilities, so more pupils will be able to learn in a modern high-tech environment that will help them set up for a brighter future. There is a report summary there on page 207 if people want to look at that. It is out there for the public to see as well. And I have got a comment from Councillor Gary Hales, the Uttoxeter Rural County Councillor, who said he can't be here unfortunately today, but he's fully supportive of the proposed expansion of the school, which he believes is a positive step in meeting the evolving needs of pupils both now and in the future. His only concern relates to the provision of safe and accessible walking routes for local pupils. Encouraging walking rather than car travel would help reduce pollution in the area, which could otherwise have a negative impact on the children's health. And that's from Councillor Gary Hales. So my the recommendations for Cabinet are A, that the Cabinet approves the use of 2.278 million S106 developer contributions plus any associated interest not yet occurred, to support the proposed enlargement to increase school places at Thomas Alleyne's High School in Uttoxeter in accordance with the Council scheme of delegation. B, authorises the Assistant Director for Commercial Assets to monitor progress and make any necessary alteration in consultation with a Cabinet Member for Education and SEND. C, delegate authority to the Director of Finance to enter into building contracts for the project in accordance with the Council's procurement regulations. And D, delegate authority to the Assistant Director for Commercial and Assets to approve and complete any legal agreements required for the delivery of the project on site, as the school is no longer maintained by Staffordshire County Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Higgins. Are there any comments or questions at all that you'd like to ask or put forward to Councillor Higgins? Silence. Okay, shall we take a vote on it then? So, shall we vote for those for the proposal? Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Wonderful. Item number 9. 2 parts. This is for the consideration of an appointment of a political assistant. I've never liked the title assistant. I'll let it be known it's not an assistant, it's a researcher. Just to give you a brief background, political assistants are routinely employed by councils up and down the country to support the councils through research and briefings. The current local government is currently facing the biggest reorganisation in decades. That's what we've been discussing earlier. So it's more important than ever for the council to be kept on a national research and events that's happening, affecting the county and the services we deliver. The assistant will help provide invaluable detailed research and analysis and will be available to the main parties. So let me make that clear. It's to not just to us, but to the opposition as well. This report sets out the framework for the appointment of a political assistant. The recommendation and the figures thrown out always make me smile on this one. It's in 2 parts. It's the maximum level you could potentially pay for 2 people. So it's not for one person, as is sort of reported in the media. The maximum funding level is £142,010. It's built into the medium-term financial strategy going forward anyway. What I would say about this being quite common, I do know that there are councils close by. The Conservatives, for example, have political assistants in other authorities roundabout. The Labour Party, we went to the LGA conference. They were quite astonished, actually, that we don't. I do believe that we had one 20-odd years ago, so I'm told, though, haven't had that confirmed. But there it is. That's the proposal, to have this position, at least create the framework, and then we decide how we want to go forward if we want to do this. It is available to the opposition. I think they have declared that they don't wish to. That's their personal choice. But I think it's important because this individual reaches down not just through our own political research, but across, also international government as well. And it's that bridge between officers and between the elected individual. So this person has a role in research that straddles many, many different areas across this particular administration. So my proposal, I won't read all the bits and pieces, that we approve this position going forward, and that we create this framework for a political assistant. I will take questions from anybody if anybody has any at all. Councillor Mason.
Yes, thank you. It's an observation more than a question. Coming into this role in May, particularly in highways, it's very clear that we need to do quite a lot as Staffordshire to improve our visibility, improve our connections, try and get some legislative changes, try to find some additional funding streams if we're actually going to make a difference and fix the roads and fix the network. What has surprised me most, and this isn't a criticism of the officers because they're apolitical and they give their advice, and it's a criticism of the previous administration, We have no connections. We have not done this for many years, and this role will help us to guide us, to do the research, to understand how we make those connections so money doesn't parachute into Birmingham, it doesn't fly over the top of us and parachute into Manchester, and on the way, some of it falls out the side of the plane and comes into Staffordshire. And that's what we need. We need that experience and that support to help put Staffordshire back on the map. It's been neglected for too many years, and therefore I fully support this role because it's absolutely to the benefit of Staffordshire.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor.
I support this proposal. We, as Cabinet members, have over the next 2 years, with everything from our previous item, with LGR and devolution, we will all be extremely busy, and I think having this extra person who understands the ins and outs of political life and has all the ability to do the research as well, whilst everybody else is getting on with their day jobs of trying to run Staffordshire, I think it's a vital position to have. Thank you.
Thank you. I think, did Councillor Patrick, did anybody else want to put comment? Yes, Councillor Hunt.
Is this a permanent role? How long is this role going to exist for? Apologies, I've not read up the paper.
Very good question, and thank you for that. This position is only temporary. It's a 12-month contract. It will see us over the difficulties that we foresee ahead, particularly with LGR and other elements, as commented. So, and it fits within the role of the council, reporting to me as the leader. And I think the very good point to make here is we have always made decisions here based on the business and evidence and data-driven. We are different from previous councillors. We see this as a benefit that will drive this council to become more efficient, make us councillors more effective and more efficient, and it will pay for itself very, very quickly in the knowledge and the experience that we gain. So that's one of the reasons why we think it's an extremely good idea. Councillor Janet Higgins.
I would support this because I do actually think for all of us, we're all new to this. We're all doing our utmost best to do a good job. And I think having somebody who's neutral and can use his past experience and knowledge, whoever the person will be extremely beneficial to all of us.
Thank you for that. Any other points and comments and questions on that? As I said, I do think that this particular individual, or the post, should we say, because it's a post rather than a person we're looking at, and it is for a period of 12 months, will bring a lot of benefits to this council. So my proposal is to approve the funding. Oh, my beg your pardon, I do have one more. Councillor Cole.
Hi. I think it's worth probably outlining the grade because obviously when it is published it is showing the maximum spend, which can look particularly high, but I think it's worth mentioning the grade level this has been put at.
That is a very good point. The figures you see here, that is the potential maximum for 2 people. That isn't what we're going to pay this particular individual. There is a proper process. It's gone through the recruitment process within the county council, and the trade unions have looked at that. They are in charge of this whole process in terms of grading and allocation. We as politicians have no input into that. It's entirely internal within the council, so it's done properly, and they will come up with their recommendations, which we will follow. Any other comments on that? So the recommendation is to approve the funding from the Corporate Contingency Fund for these 2 posts at the maximum funding level of £142,010, with the cost to be built into the MTFS moving forward. Can I get a yes or a no? I'd like to say aye on that one. Thank you very much for that. The position is now approved. My screen's playing. Wonderful. Okay. Decisions taken by cabinets under the delegated power. Wonderful. Thank you. Let me just turn to the hard copies instead. Technology sometimes just let you down, doesn't it? This item for the leader should say, this is recommendation of the leader that decisions by Cabinet under delegated powers, as detailed in paragraph 3, reported the Deputy Chief Executive Director of Corporate Services reasons for recommendations to inform the Cabinet of recent decisions taken by Cabinet members under delegated powers, the background being, and we got a whole load of items on here, just the one item. Okay, Cabinet member for strategic highways in approving the pilot scheme for 7 months or until a new traffic and network management plan is approved to immediately help reduce the disruption caused by roadworks and street works on the highway network and inform the development of a new traffic and network management plan scheduled for approval by Cabinet early 2026. And this is for information. Thank you, Chief Executive. You just saved me with the technology there, haven't you? Going back to bits of paper. And with that, we have no more questions on anything?
Yeah.
Agenda item number 10. There is one Cabinet December delegated decision this time relates to a pilot scheme for 7 months to immediately help reduce the disruption caused. We've already done that one, haven't we?
Yeah, this is just the list.
And item 11, the forward plan, this is for information, should say the forward plan lists the matters coming before Cabinet before a decision over the next few months. Are members happy to note the contents of the forward plan? My screen's now come back, by the way. So there we go. We've gone from technology and bits of paper back to the screens again. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think, according to my screen now, that is the end of the meeting. Thank you very much. We will end the meeting. Thank you. Bye-bye.